Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Jude Dholah, welcome to The Culture Hack. I'm so excited to be chatting with you about mindset today. Jude is the founder of TIR Consult, and he's been doing some amazing things. Jude, welcome to the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam. Great to be here. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Okay, well, Let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about TIR Consult and your background and all. What is it that you do?
You know, in a nutshell, what I will say I do is I help people know maybe better and understand themselves, be it mentally, emotionally, even physically as well. But I don't mean going to the gym. I mean understanding who we are, what makes us tick, what makes us do those things that we do, even we know we shouldn't be doing them. And what prevents us from doing those things that we know we should do to get to, let's call it goals, to what we want. So I apply these concepts or principles, if you will, to business, to mindset, but to individuals as well. Even a business is about individuals, right? We tend to disassociate these two things. We talk about business, but we have to know who we are and what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing.
I love that. Well, that really perfectly leads into, I always talk about the word engagement on this show, and engagement has become almost overused or a cliche perhaps, but I really want to get your take on how people are engaged in what they're doing. What does that mean for them if they're engaged or not?
Yes, I mean, when I hear the word engagement, I hear collaboration. If we say, let's take an example of a workplace setting, right? To me, engagement there, I used to be an employee. Engagement means, the commitment that you have toward the company. And for an employee to be really engaged, I believe they have to have goals themselves, personally, and they have to go through those personal goals toward the organizational goals, if you will, their employer, the company they work for. But to be engaged, one has to be, I like the word motivation, but to be engaged, we have to be really passionate about what we want to do. It's not about going to work, collect a paycheck, and go home. We have to want to contribute to the betterment of the company. And we get what we sow what we reap, what we sow, that is, we get what we put out. So engagement to me really means the connection, the emotional connection that we feel toward the organization. And that also may mean connection between two individuals, whether it's friendship or love relationships or the relationship between parents and children. I think when we talk about engagement, we have to put that emotional component in it. Otherwise, there's no engagement. We can't. We're human beings, right?
I love that. I love that. And the reason is, I think, whether it's your own business or your own relationships, we have this tendency, you read a book and you apply an intellectual solution to an emotional problem, which comes down to connection and trust. And, from those things come creativity and innovation.
Absolutely.
And kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Right?
We tend to be very logical in things, but we forget the emotional component. I see people running companies being very logical, intelligent people, smart people. They struggle to get to their goals, although they have all the knowledge they need. They are not intimately, intimately involved, if you will, but emotionally involved with that goal that they are looking for. That is what's going to drive your behavior, change your behavior. And it's the behavior that produces the results, right?
I love that idea, right? We talk about mindset and, maybe the goal isn't the goal, right?
Correct.
Which could be
along the way we find out sometimes, no, this is not what we're looking for. Yeah.
I love that. So is that an example? Do you have some stories of how you've maybe helped individuals with their mindset in your work?
Yes. I have a good example in mind. I cannot say the person's last name, but Victor. Victor is a real estate agent. who had been in real estate as probably 8-9 years when I met him. I was invited to in Mississauga. I live in Ontario. In Mississauga, the Mississauga, real estate board, they do training for their real estate agents. And I was invited by the trainer, somebody I knew well. They know what I do, and I was just there to observe. I wasn't here to do any coaching or any talking. They introduced me, and they say, if you want to say a few words at the end of their presentation, of their training. I said, yeah, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I wish you well, all, etc., etc. And this guy, Victor, when I was leaving, he followed me in the parking lot. And he said, can we talk? I said, yes, sure, but I'm on my way to an appointment. So we met after that in a different day at a coffee shop. And he said, I say, so what's going on? He says, I've been struggling to get it going, and he's not selling anything. And I'm going to tell you this, that was mid-October 2019.
Oh, okay.
And I said, so what have you done this year? He said, nothing. No. I said, really? I mean, there's something very wrong here. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking there's something very wrong. I said, what do you do for money, for income? He says, I deliver papers in the morning. And I'm thinking, okay. I remember when I first came to Canada, while working, I did that for a year. It's very hard. You have to be up at 4 a.m. And you have to be done at 6. If you deliver a paper after 6, you get a complaint. Anyway, that was my experience. And thinking, this is hard. And I have to cut the story short because it's a beautiful story, actually. And I asked him how it's going on at work, at home. Things are not going well, of course, no money. And that's the big dilemma within couples, right? And I said, so walk me to work. What do you do? How do you do that? He said, well, I have to cold callings. I have to be making cold calls because I don't really have anything. Okay. I said, what do you do first? He said, well, I get to my desk, I pick up my coffee, and I start calling. I said, I want you to stop doing that. He was being very logical. He learned in his training, cold calling, the strategies and all that. All this is very good. But he was not showing up as the person to be doing it. And I said, do you want to stop doing that? I said, take a pen and a piece of paper. Write down all these issues that you're having because you're there talking to people who don't need you. There's 1,000 agents in their neighborhood probably. And you're disrupting their mornings because you're calling them. And I say, you should be grateful that they pick up the phone and give you 5 minutes of their time. He wasn't looking at it this way. And I said, and he had told me about, I especially on purpose, how's the traffic? He's getting worse every day. He was going to work with a lot of noise in his head. I said, I want you to take a piece of paper, bullet point, all these issues that you're having, no money, problem with wife, traffic bad, whatever, no business. Put that on a piece of paper. It will take you 20 seconds to do that. Fold that paper, put it in your back pocket. The guy was getting annoyed because I'm talking completely different. What am I doing, right? I'm not helping him. I said, put it on a piece of paper, put it on your back pocket. He said, because what you're doing is you're going to be sitting on it. I said, you know the expression, sit on it? What you're doing is you're putting these problems away for a little while. It's not here. And he was visibly getting annoyed. And I said, once you do that, you take a minute, 1 minute. I said, are you aware you're breathing now, Victor? He took a deep breath. I mean, when you say that to people, they realize we're not aware that we're breathing.
Yeah, I just did, yeah.
And I said to him, I see you're not very happy with me, Victor. He said, well, I'm looking for clients. I said, you asked me to talk to you, and I'm talking to you right now. He said, okay. I said, I want you to just close your eyes, listen to your breath, your breath for a minute. Just Even people are watching, don't worry about them. People are not watching. We think people are watching us all the time, thinking. They're not thinking. They have problems of their own. I said, just listen to your breathing. Even if you do that for 30 seconds, you will be so calm you will not believe it. You will be very calm. And I say, as you're dialing the number that you have on your list, put a big smile on your face. My God, the guy could have slapped me. Like he was really, I'm not helping him at all, right? And I said, put a big smile on your face. When the person says hello, they will hear your smile. Now, I was speaking Greek to this guy at this point. I said, because you're disrupting their morning. If they give you a minute of their time, be thankful. I said, why are you calling? What's the purpose of you calling? He said, I'm looking for my next deal. I said, okay. I said, then let me ask you this. Who's paying who's writing your check? Who's paying you? He says, the brokerage. I said, no, your income comes through your brokerage, but it comes from the client when you get a client. So keep that in mind. Your broker is not paying you. They are just passing the buck, like they're giving you. He said, okay, whatever. I'm thinking, should I just leave? I said, Victor, I promise you this works because your energy is felt even through the phone. I say, I know what I'm talking about. I don't lie, and I know what I'm talking about. I tell him, when you find out that I'm lying and I'm a fraud, then you can stop doing what I'm telling you to do. Mid-October, Adam. And I remember that, so it's so vivid. This is something that I can't forget. December 31st, 3 p.m. Hi, it's Victor here. Remember me? I say, sure, I remember you. What do you think he tells me? He started crying. He said, I sold 2 houses.
No way.
He said, I thought you were, excuse my language, I thought you were bullshitting me. You were telling me all kinds of nonsense. My training doesn't tell me any of that. And I was upset. I'm not going to use his words. I was upset. And after a week, I thought, what have I got to lose? The year's almost over. And he said, I started to get calm and do that and start to do exactly what you told me. He sold 2 houses. I said, your training helped you do that, but your mindset was not in its rightful place. See, that's what's missing in a lot of things. We look at how we're going to do this. We look at techniques and strategies, but we're not looking at who's doing those things. Look in the mirror, you'll get familiar with this person. That's important, and we don't teach people that.
I love that. You were right. That is such a beautiful story. I love that.
Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, anyway, each time I remember that, I get a little bit because the guy really he was telling me how I thank you. I say, well, yeah, you're welcome, but you did that, not me. I didn't do that. You did, right?
Well, and I think what I love about that, and I have my own version of that in my business travels, is if you reach a place where you start to make decisions out of fear, your energy comes out like that, where it's going this way instead of where you want it, right? And sometimes you need someone like yourself to kind of whack you over the head a little bit, calm you down, and focus you, and then all of a sudden things start to happen, and it's nothing more crazy than exactly that. You're feeling connected about who you are, what you're doing, and
absolutely. Yeah. And I think everybody needs a little bit of that. I have a coach myself, because we're human beings. We have good and bad. We have qualities. We have faults. I mean, nobody's perfect. So I have a coach myself to get me straight from time to time. Right. It's important. I think it's important.
Well, Jude, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us here today. I hope people watching take a moment and breathe. And breathe. And breathe. Think about it.
Adam, I couldn't tell you how much I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.